Hi, my name is Jenna, and I'm a homeschooling mom of two boys, ages 11 and 7. We have been homeschooling ever since my oldest was in kindergarten, and I, having public school education work experience, have felt that this was the right path for our family. We have been through a lot of curriculum ever since the boys started schooling, and it's been really interesting to see how I've changed as a homeschool mom. We have been through the gamut of box curriculums and piecemeal curriculums and books that I have kind of created curriculum around. And so it's been a full journey for the many, many years we've been at it. My oldest is currently in the middle of fifth grade, and my youngest is working at a first grade level. Both boys have their own academic challenges and strengths. And so it has been an ultimate challenge to find the right curriculum for each of my different learners. Um, we are not above recognizing when something isn't working. And we've also altered and changed course mid year many times. This year has felt different, however, because my youngest has had now a 1.5 year history, I would say, of just struggling academically. Not with every subject, but in particular reading and also number identification. With this knowledge and the knowledge I have as a speech language pathologist, I have determined that he is a person who struggles with dyslexia. Um, Thankfully, I have wonderful resources to utilize to reverse our direction that we were going down, which was leading to frustration and ultimately low self confidence, to reverse course and just kind of give us a little bit of time to breathe, build up self confidence. We stopped mid year with a curriculum and then started with one level lower with the All About Reading program. And so I did make a video on that. So if you're interested in seeing an overview of that curriculum, there definitely is a video out there for you. And so I will also try to link it in the description for you to find that. Um, but anyway, what we were wanting to do was build up his confidence and self esteem with a level that was doable for him. And so we have definitely not been able to complete a curriculum in reading yet for him, but I'm totally okay with that. It's almost like we need to set aside my pride and ego as a homeschool mom who wants to finish it out and say, you know what, I'm evaluating what my son currently needs, and that is to step back and start at this point. We're going to move that start line up a little bit and build up that confidence that is so important and imperative for him to want to learn and continue to learn. So, as I am now looking at our coming up on the fourth kind of quarter of what we think about for our homeschool, I like to evaluate and see how did our year progress? How did it go? What worked? What didn't? Um, and I'm really constantly always evaluating myself as a homeschool teacher, as a homeschool mom, um, because I definitely feel like I set the tone for our energy and our passion for learning. And so I am now looking at a lot of things that come across my social media feed about curriculum that can come up and for the next year. So a lot of times you'll start getting advertisements and sales to check out new curriculum for the upcoming school year. And so this is the time we kind of do a little evaluation to see how's it going, what could be better, what needs to change for next year. And so, with that being said, I am currently evaluating things that we might participate in next year. One thing that I really find to be the most challenging for our school year this year is my my boys are vastly different in their learning styles, and they're vastly different in their academic achievement. And so I have to spend a lot of my time with both learners, and that's really tricky as a homeschool mom when I have two vastly different grade levels that I am teaching, and each require a lot of my attention. My oldest having ADHD, my youngest having dyslexia. They're doing great with their schoolwork, but I would really like to have a little bit more hands off approach, especially with my older one. And then on some things with my younger one, I definitely want a more hands on approach so I can ensure understanding and comprehension, and a little bit more drill work that it takes for that dyslexia piece for reading. So both of my boys have different needs, but both are very much needs that we prioritize. So I am now looking into, as my oldest is kind of going into the realm of middle school, sixth grade next year, but he would solidly be in a sixth grade curriculum next year. My youngest, we kind of backtracked and we are working on a first grade level with him, simply because if we were to start him in public school, he wouldn't have started until he was 6 years old, simply because he was that kind of kid that just wasn't ready for school, didn't care two iotas about academics. He was my outdoors kid who wanted to be moving, moving, moving all the time or playing. And so we've really prioritized kind of his childhood, more over than trying to get him to be that kid that sits down at a desk for 8 hours and just knocks out worksheets. So I, being a homeschool mom and having the flexibility of a homeschool family, we have been able to gift our children the, I guess, the um, priority of childhood. And that has always been my main reasoning for homeschooling is I want to be a defender of childhood, especially in today's world. We really wanted to give our kids a childhood that I don't think many kids get to have nowadays. So we prioritize um, flexibility and traveling and having outward experiences. And so we'll definitely continue with that next year. That's not going to change. But the things that we are looking at are utilizing more online tools, where before everything was led by myself as the main teacher. And so I would like to kind of step back a little bit and let my oldest, who's 11, kind of take more of a lead in his education. And so we went through two different possibilities, I will say. One being a free option, which is Khan Academy, and then one that is a subscription based, and that is Miacademy. And so I would like to take you along with us when we are kind of evaluating what's going to work for us and what's not for next year. And maybe that can help you, if you're a new homeschooler, figure out how we go about deciding what is right and what isn't for your child. And maybe it can also help you get some knowledge on some programs that you may not have been that familiar with. Um, we have used Khan Academy very briefly. They have a course in, I believe it's the College of Pixar or the School of Pixar. I'll have to look that up a little bit more. It's been a while since we've used it. But both of my boys are very into animation and drawing. And so I, during a summer break, decided that we would do some of those courses, and they were fascinating. They loved them. It was so high quality, done very, very well. Had real interviews with Pixar Imagineers and artists and animators, and it was just really, really interesting. So that's how I was introduced to Khan Academy. And then this year, I did a little bit of research in terms of how I would implement that if we chose to do that as our main bulk curriculum for next year. And then I'm also taking advantage of, currently Miacademy is having a spring sale. You can try 1 month for just $1.99. And so we are going to check that out and see how my boys like that. I think that program would be appropriate for both boys. And I seem to understand that you can really contour their curriculum to any kind of level that they're at. So I'm not too worried about picking it up mid-year or kind of late year, because we're just going to try it out and see. I was looking at the curriculum and where they would fall in terms of like where in the curriculum we would be. And it looks like, at least for my oldest and my youngest, I did a brief check on the scope and the sequence, and it seems like they would line up appropriately for each of those levels, just based on what we have done. For example, we use the Matthew C curriculum right now for math, and he is working on greatest common factor and improper fractions. And so that is kind of leading right into where Miacademy would have placed him anyway. So I was really happy to see that we are kind of following along in the right realm of math curriculum. And then for my youngest, if he was starting out in the first grade area, he's doing exactly what they would have him do in the first grade level, which is just re-identifying the long and the short sound of each vowel, working on CVC words, working in word families. And that is right kind of where we're at with him. Like I said, because we did have to backtrack and kind of do a big, huge pause, let's go back and review and kind of start over to give him that confidence that he needed, because we were working at a level that was just too high for him for a long time, and it got him just in this really sad place of just feeling like he was not getting it, he wasn't smart enough, and all of these things that are very untrue. And so we just have to dismantle that belief system and kind of build up his confidence so he feels comfortable and confident going forward as someone who struggles with dyslexia. So I'm really happy to see that we could just pick it up if we wanted to mid-year and kind of continue on. But I don't know much about Miacademy, and so I was hoping to bring you along so we could kind of take an in-depth look together. And maybe throughout the month, we can check in and see, is this something that's really going to work for us next year? So I hope you join us on this journey. Like I said, I'm bringing you along as I work through my process of trying to figure out what has worked, what hasn't, what we need to change for next year. It's always my favorite part of homeschooling is the planning, the dreaming, the how do I want to curate my homeschool energy and feeling for next year. It's getting a little harder because my oldest is getting into that tween stages where he is still just a sweet kid, but I can kind of see some of that attitude of like, oh, why do I have to do school? And, that's always kind of been in the back of his mind. Even though he's very academic and it's never really been a struggle for him, it's kind of that attitude piece that I'm trying to kind of maybe foster a little bit more of a positive, independent vibe that I think he might be ready for. So come along with us. It's going to be a journey. I don't know what we're in for, so it'll be a surprise to both of us. So anyway, I hope you join us on this journey and stay tuned, and I will definitely do an update on how our trial with Miacademy is going.